So there has been an agreement, we understand, that has been given to workers in the ongoing strike, a final offer of an average 7.5% to public servants. And there is some pushback from the unions involved, saying that some of the statements made by the Acting Minister of Public Service and Administration about this deal are misleading. So let's kick off with a discussion between Khehla Masomela, who is the Deputy President of POPCRU, and Waheed Hoosen, who is the spokesperson for Fedusa. Waheed, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. You say that there is some misrepresentation about the offer that's on the table. How would you break it down for our audience?
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to the viewers. Okay, the latest offer which we've heard that's been offered by the employer, the 7.5%, is not a factual it's not factual. The 7.5%, which was the original offer, or the last offer that was withdrawn by the employer, is still the same offer. They haven't tabled anything new. The government hasn't tabled any new offers. The offer is made up of the 3% baseline and the 4.5% cash gratuity. So there is no further offers that have been put on the table. We are yet to hear about a new offer. So government indicating that they've written to indicate that public servants have been offered a 7.5% is not factual. It's actually reckless in our opinion, because we have not heard or had any further offers by the DPSA. The one that was last presented to the unions at the PSCBC is the one that's been unilaterally implemented by government. So there is no further offer by government at this point in time. I must state that quite clearly. There is no further offer at this point in time.
Just to understand, Waheed, when you talk about the 1,000 Rand, that's the untaxed stipend that you've been receiving, was there a guarantee that that stipend would continue?
In the last agreement, which was the 2021-22 agreement, a clause was inserted into the agreement that the cash gratuity, the non-pensionable cash gratuity, will continue until a new agreement has been finalized for this round of wage negotiations at the PSCBC. There has been no finalization of any wage agreement for the 2022-23 financial year. Therefore, the cash gratuity, by implication of that agreement and a clause in that agreement, is to continue until such time. So the 1,000 Rand that they commonly refer to, the net amount, which is the cash gratuity, is something that members had already had in the previous financial year. So there is no it's only been extended by the clause to include until a new agreement is in place, but there's no further adding on to the cash gratuity. So it's really something that members have already enjoyed in the last financial year. So the increase that they're only getting for this financial year is the 3%. The 4.5%, which government refers to, they've had that already in the previous financial year. So it's a manner of eroding the cost of living adjustment in a way. So that is why we're saying that the cash gratuity should be made long-term into a pensionable, factored into the pensionable baseline.
Right. So let me understand, Waheed. Right. So this 1,000 Rand stipend should already be there anyway. You still want more than the 3% that's being put out. So it shouldn't be part of the accounting equation.
That is correct.
Okay.
Our original demand was 10, and we came down to 6.5, but at the moment, the government has unilaterally implemented 3%.
Khehla, I'd love your thoughts on this. We are going to be speaking to the acting minister just after 7 o'clock this evening to get his thoughts on this conversation that we're having right now. But how do you see government's position in respect of the Labour and Labour's demands? My understanding is you feel that government does not take you seriously.
The government does not take us seriously. Remember, they are continuously misleading the public, saying there is a 4.5% that is inclusive in the offer. There's no offer right now because the offer is fallen off and workers have rejected it. They want to come back to the bargaining table. Let them come, put something above the 3%, because the money that is talking about the 4.5%, which is a gratuity, is not even pensionable. It's not part of this thing. Like Waheed is saying correctly, this is money that have been paid for last year, so it's continuously, and it's not pensionable. And we said to government, put this 1,000 Rand in the pensionable increase. If you say it's 4.5%, put it on the 3% to make it the very 7.5%, then you have an agreement. But they refuse it.
All
So
right. Thanks for that clarity. So, Waheed, if government adds that 1,000 rand, as Khehla is saying, but makes it pensionable, and that bumps up the percentage in terms of what they will give you, would that be an acceptable compromise?
I think that will be an acceptable compromise. We are looking to increase the pensionable portion of the salary increase for public servants because that is more sustainable. And long-term, the effect of the government employee pension fund contribution. So this year we were willing to take the cash gratuity as it is, provided there is a clause in this current agreement to secure it beyond 2023 if we don't reach an agreement next year, and to also include it as part of the guarantee to the next round of negotiation that this 4.5% will be, as a start to the baseline, be included, so that anything above that then will be renegotiated. So at this point in time, we don't have those guarantees from the employer and the government. So that is why we are saying we cannot just accept the 3%, as it is. They have to come with a better offer that is sustainable to the cost of living adjustment for public servants.
Right. So again, I'll put that to the minister around the recalculation or the reaccounting around the 1,000 rand amount. And if it is in the way that you explain it now, then that might be a figure you could land on. But let's go to the imminent prospect of a widespread strike across the country. 800,000 public sector workers expected to down tools unless something happens. Khehla, are you sure that this proposed strike action has national support?
Indeed, workers are resolute. Workers have given us unwavering mandate that, in fact, we should have taken government head on when they took us to court by emerging out of the signed agreement. Workers then were also ready, but they don't say, with this thing that we see now, it makes matters worse. And if government is not serious, this coming action will have a devastating effect on public service.
Well, let's break that down. Waheed, what does that actually mean? I mean, we've heard, and I've been in conversation with other union representatives before around go-slows, it'll have an effect on our borders and so on. Just give us another sense of what it would mean if workers take to the streets.
What the envisaged action is going to be is it's going to start in a protest action. We're not actually going on strike at this point in time. It's going to start on the process of protest action, picketing, etc. The non-strike mechanisms that we will outlay in order to get government to recognize the seriousness of the issue and come back and try and resolve the issue. Remember that our public servants and who are members have not had a above inflation increase for the last 2 years. In fact, in 2020, they never had an increase. So we're saying over the years, government have also made savings in terms of the fiscus in relation to the increases that public servants should have received in line with inflation. So this is going to be the start, and it's like we said yesterday at the press briefing, it's going to be a warning shot to the employer that if you do not come back and resolve this issue amicably with the unions at the SABC, then certainly we are going to go on full-blown strike. So Tuesday's action is mainly to start the process of working up to a full-blown strike if government and the employer, which is the DPSA, does not take our warning seriously. And it will entail, firstly with non-essential public servants joining the action on Tuesday. We have even asked, essential service staff who are not on duty to join us because we need to make an impact. But long term, if this matter is not resolved amicably, there's definitely going to be a full-blown strike in the public sector, which would then include the essential service employees, which we have a large number of members in that category as well. But we are mindful of the fact that, we will be precluded as essential service staff. They are precluded from strike action. But if, it comes to a total shutdown of the public sector and members are prevented, or members are unable to attend the workplace for their safety, etc., then we are going to address those issues with the employer. But at this point in time, like I say, it's the warning shot that's been sounded, and it's for government to come back and say, to realize that they have to address this issue, they have to confront it.
Okay. Khehla, a final word to you. There is a lack of trust between the labour movement or the labour unions in South Africa and government, some of them, going back to our recent history in 2018, where you feel as if there was a lack of follow-through and the delivery of promises made in the previous wage agreement that was struck. How do you expect that you're going to find each other? Are you confident that you can?
Look, workers are on the receiving end, and this is the second year going that workers have not been able to receive any increase. Now, whether government is willing to come to the party or not, they'll be forced to come to the party because workers can't take it anymore. And the question of us trusting them, there's a matter on people. But something that's very worrying is that government, through its own ministers, is communicating outside the bargaining council. And we're saying, let them come to the council, not make pronouncements over the media, which infuriates workers more. What is supposed to be doing? If there's any other meaningful thing they could bring on, let them come to the council. Well, unions have been always ready to engage. But government is running away and making pronouncements which dictate now the outcomes of the bargaining processes. And I think that is becoming worrying.
All right. Well, I'll put some of these concerns that you've shared with us now to the acting minister when we interview him just after 7 o'clock. Khehla Masomela, thank you for talking to us. Waheed Hoosen, thank you as well.